What if I told you that Derrick Rose has put hundreds of millions of dollars into the pockets of future NBA generations? Most know the meteoric rise and fall of the youngest MVP in NBA history. But do you know the lasting impact he left on the game? In the summer of 2008, Kobe Bryant had just won his first and only league MVP. The Boston Celtics were NBA champions, and the US economy was in the midst of the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression. Meanwhile, the Chicago Bulls were in a bit of a depression of their own, struggling in basketball purgatory. They weren't good enough to compete for an NBA championship, but not bad enough to land a top prospect and rebuild their future. This year looked the same, and they had less than a 2% chance of landing the number 1 overall pick, and around an 8% chance of even getting a top 5 pick. Despite these near impossible odds, the basketball gods blessed Chicago, and they landed the number 1 pick. From there, the decision was between drafting the explosive, yet poised Chicago native point guard Derrick Rose, or the 6'9" forward with scoring tools well behind his years, Michael Beasley. Thankfully, for Bulls fans, they chose the former. Rose went on to have an exceptional rookie season, winning Rookie of the Year and helping lead the Bulls to a first-round playoff matchup with the defending champions Celtics. In his playoff debut, Rose didn't just make his mark, he tied Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record for most points in a playoff debut, dropping 36. What made Rose so exciting to watch was how in control he was of his godly athleticism. Despite being one of the most athletic people on the planet, Rose had this acrobatic touch to his game that allowed him to gracefully dominate his opponents while leveraging his lightning-quick speed and extraordinary leaping ability. Rose would continue this success into the following season, improving his averages to the following. In today's NBA, 20-point averages don't carry the same weight. Today, 38 players are averaging at least 28 points, but in 2010, that number was half. The following season, Derrick Rose and the Bulls shocked the NBA world, finishing with the number 1 seed after going 62-20. Led by Derrick Rose, this success propelled him to become the youngest MVP in league history. The Bulls would make it to the conference finals before losing to LeBron James and the Miami Heat, a fate many teams in the East succumbed to. In the offseason, Rose was eligible for a contract extension, but he wasn't able to get the full maximum. How could the MVP of the league not get a maximum contract that other stars had? Something was not adding up. It turns out that Rose was still on his rookie extension and was only eligible for a maximum of 25% of the salary cap, as opposed to the 30% that other superstar caliber players could receive. Simply because of his youth, Rose would miss out on upwards of $20 million on his next contract. This didn't make any sense, so the NBA decided it was time to adjust. Enter the Derrick Rose rule. The Derrick Rose rule allows players on rookie contracts to earn maximum extensions if they meet one of the following criteria. A, they were either named All-NBA or won Defensive Player of the Year in the previous season or 2 of the last 3 seasons. Or B, they won NBA MVP in one of the last 3 seasons like Derrick Rose. In no world should the MVP of the league not be able to demand maximum dollars irrespective of his age. MVP is often associated with the faces of the league, and those kind of players are a primary reason why the NBA is a billion-dollar conglomerate. Because of Derrick Rose, players who fit this criteria can now recoup tens of millions. Here on the screen is a visual of the players who have benefited from the Rose rule thus far. As you can see, the list features many household names and the future of today's NBA. When accumulating all the millions earned through the Rose rule, we get a total of well over 100 million. This number is only set to increase in the years to come, especially with the new CBA kicking in. The highest paid contract on an annual basis was Stephen Curry's at around $62 million. With a 10% increase in cap year over year, the expectation that a player will make $100 million in a single season is coming sooner rather than later. Throughout a 4 to 5 year span, that's $500 million. Let's say, down the road, a player makes All NBA in their third season and is eligible for a contract extension of 4 years, $400 million. If the Rose rule would play, that contract would be around $333 million over 4 years. So without the Derrick Rose rule, the player's contract would be roughly $67 million less over the 4-year span. Added up over generations, Rose's impact on the league will help players earn hundreds of millions of dollars. While we never truly got to see the best version of Derrick Rose, his impact on the way he captivated fans and the league should never be understated. The story of D. Rose tracks the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. Despite enduring what were supposed to be several career-ending surgeries and nearly getting blackballed out of the league, D. Rose showed us what true grit and resilience are. His basketball career is an insight into many of our lives. Imperfect, but never giving up, regardless of the situation. Long live the Rose that grew from the concrete. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more NBA content down the road.